I knew the moment she said my name that the room would turn on me. My mother's fork froze mid-air. My father's eyes narrowed, already choosing a side. And my sister, sweet, trembling, rehearsed, held up her empty jewelry box like it was evidence in a murder trial. "You stole my necklace. Just admit it." The words hit harder than they should have. Not because they were cruel, but because they were planned. I felt the trap lock around me before I could even inhale. That was the moment the house stopped feeling like a home. The things you remember when someone sets you on fire. I remember her as a kid, barely tall enough to reach the counter, handing me burnt cookies with a proud smile. I remember lifting her onto my shoulders at the park because she said the world looked kinder from above. I remember the nights she cried when school was too much, when life was too sharp, when she felt small, and I told her she never would be. I worked 2 jobs, paid her tuition quietly, covered the electric bill when Dad forgot, bought groceries when Mom sighed about money but wouldn't say why. She never asked. I never told her. That was our unspoken agreement. I protect her. She trusts me. But trust has a way of mutating when entitlement takes root. Looking back, the signs weren't subtle. She had grown comfortable in the role of the fragile one, the victim, the one who needed rescuing. A role I had unintentionally written for her. The first shift came when she started disappearing with that new friend group, the ones whose parents bought them everything. She mimicked their tone, their entitlement, their sharp, polished cruelty. Then came the rumors. Little things. A missing 20 from Dad's wallet. A broken vase blamed on me. Snide comments about how I owed her for all the times I'd been gone working. The necklace accusation was merely the crescendo, the moment she realized she could weaponize innocence and my parents would reload the gun for her. But even betrayal has a rhythm, and I listened to it carefully. I didn't defend myself when she accused me, didn't raise my voice, didn't point out that the necklace she claimed I stole was insured by me, or that I had the receipts, or that she'd asked to borrow money the night before and I'd said no. I simply looked at her, and in her eyes, I saw something terrifying. She expected me to fight. She wanted me to break. She needed me to become the villain so she could remain the child. That was the instant my anger crystallized into clarity. I wasn't the villain. I was the foundation, and foundations, when removed, bring entire houses down. The next morning, before the sun even touched the blinds, my parents kicked me out. They said it calmly, as if they'd been waiting for the chance. I nodded, packed my bag, and walked out without a word. But I didn't leave empty-handed. I took with me every financial load I had been carrying for years. I withdrew from her tuition payments, stopped paying the electric bill, canceled the auto-pay for the water, removed myself from their phone plan, deleted the grocery delivery accounts tied to my card. Silence. Cold. Precise. 3 days later, the calls began. First from my mother. Panicked. Breathless. "Why is the power off?" Then my father, angry, sharp. "Did you cancel something?" Finally, my sister, confused, voice small. "My tuition portal says payment failed. Can you?" I hung up. I wanted her to feel the floorboards shift, to realize that the stability she mocked was one bad lie away from disappearing. A week later, I returned. Not because they asked, because I wanted them to see the truth in real time. The house was dim, the air tense, my mother clutching a stack of unpaid notices, my father pacing like a caged animal, and my sister, her mascara smudged, hair unwashed, the princess stripped of her kingdom. She looked at me as if I were the storm and the shelter. You didn't tell them?" she whispered. "No," I said. "You did." I placed the receipts on the table, tuition, bills, every quiet contribution. Years of invisible work suddenly made visible. My parents stared at the papers like they were written in a language they'd never bothered to learn. My sister swallowed hard. "I didn't know," she said, voice cracking. "You didn't want to know." She broke first. The truth always shatters the person who built their life on lies. "You can't just leave us like this," my father snapped. "I already did," I replied. "The day you believed a lie over a lifetime of truth." My sister stepped toward me, trembling. I'm sorry. I looked at her, really looked at her, and saw the child I once protected buried beneath the person she had chosen to become. But apologies don't rebuild burned bridges. And I no longer lived in houses without foundations. I walked out again, but this time it wasn't exile. It was liberation. The door clicked behind me like a final punctuation mark. The air outside felt cleaner, colder, honest. People say revenge is loud, explosive, chaos dressed as justice. But they're wrong. Real revenge is quiet, a removal, a vacancy where your support used to be. My sister learned that the hard way, and as I walked toward my own life, unburdened, unseen, finally free, I realized something simple. Some betrayals break you, others build you, and mine? It made me untouchable.